Hey friends, it's Matt with BoLS, and Davros and the Daleks are invading Gallifrey, and it's up to you and your fellow doctors to travel throughout time and stop the invasion to save the entire timeline! Spoilers, it's Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks, 2nd edition. Allons-y! Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks is a semi-cooperative dice pooling game where each player plays as one of the regenerations of the Doctor, racing against an invasion of Dalek forces. The first player to reach Gallifrey on the Web of Time wins the game, but if the Daleks get there first, all players lose together. During setup, the Web of Time tile is placed in the center of the play area. This tile is used to track the players' and Daleks' progress towards Gallifrey, and thus victory. On each player's turn, they can choose to hop in their TARDIS and travel to some different locations by rolling the TARDIS die. If they roll the TARDIS symbol, that player either moves to any available location, or draws 2 new tiles and chooses which one to play and discards the other. However, if the player rolls the question mark symbol on the TARDIS die, the TARDIS knows best and sends the player to some new location, where the player draws a location tile and plays it, moving there automatically. Regardless of how the Doctor ended up in a new location, anytime a new location tile is played, 2 new dilemmas are placed face down there, creating more adventures. Anytime a Doctor moves to a location, they choose which time zone to land in, and then reveals the dilemma there, and then can attempt to complete it. In order to complete a dilemma, and therefore solve that adventure, the player needs to roll their pool of dice to match the symbols combined from the time zone they're in and the dilemma itself. But of course, the Doctor won't be able to do this on their own. That's where the players will need to enlist the aid of some companions and also some wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey stuff. The timey-wimey cards can be used either one-time event cards for things like granting rerolls during an adventure, or they can be things like equipment, say a library card, a fez, or a bow tie. Some cards require spending sonic charge tokens, which are gained at the start of each round, and from a few other in-game effects. While handling a dilemma, the player rolls up to 8 of their dice from their pool. The black dice have 1 of each available symbols, while the green, red, and blue dice are each more specialized and typically granted by companions. If a player is struggling to match each symbol with the one in their adventure, they might be able to use some equipment or companion abilities to grant rerolls to some or all of their dice. But if they don't, a player may discard a black die to reroll all of their dice. Not just some of them, all of them. So it's a calculated risk. Also, some abilities will allow the Doctor to simply set the die to whatever face they might need in the moment. And if all else fails, players can work together to solve a particularly taxing adventure. In this case, the players succeed or fail together. If the Doctor can't match all of the required symbols, the adventure is failed, and a Dalek is added to that location, which will exterminate, which is to say discard, a die from any future attempts to solve that adventure. But if all of the die symbols in the adventure are matched, the Doctor is successful in solving that dilemma. The dilemma is discarded, and the Doctor gains any rewards listed by the time zone, and any Dalek present is removed. But the main reward players are looking for in solving all of these dilemmas is advancing their TARDIS forwards towards Earth and victory. But all of that, of course, wouldn't be quite enough for the good Doctor, and at the end of each round, the Dalek ship is also advanced towards Earth on the Web of Time track. But along the way, they trigger time anomalies, which affect all players negatively. Each time anomaly has a different effect and different means of resolution, but they certainly cannot be ignored, or they will begin to pile up and make life very difficult. After that, next round begins and the game continues. However, if at any point, players can't add another Dalek from not having enough minis, or if there are 3 Daleks on Earth, or if the Dalek ship reaches Gallifrey, all players lose. The timeline has been torn asunder and the Doctor ceases to exist. However, if players can reach Gallifrey before any of that happens, they save the timeline and win the game. What I really like about the Doctor Who game is it's just absolutely packed with theme. The mechanics and the theme just go so well hand in hand. It just builds a really fun, easy to pick up game that's a surefire hit for any Doctor Who fan. And if you're looking for a shorter game, you can always just start further along the Web of Time track. Also, with each of the different generations of Doctor coming out in various expansions, there's plenty of other adventures to look forward to. So if all of that sounds interesting, please go check out Doctor Who: Time of the Daleks. Again, I am Matt with BoLS. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye.